Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, back with the much anticipated next part of Spyro 1. I don't know if anyone's anticipating it. So, final homeworld. Kind of a spoiler, but yeah, this is the last homeworld, Gnasty's world, and there isn't really much of a world to be had. This is it. It's just this one platform, all these gems, a balloonist over there, and a dragon, and let's begin with the dragon. Hello to you, Delbin. Have we met before?
Hey! Didn't I already free you?
You're in Gnasty's world now, Spyro, and you are the dragon who must defeat him.
Bring him on! I'm ready!
Reach the exit in each of Gnasty's lands. Then you can challenge the Gnorc himself.
So there you go. This world works slightly differently compared to some of the others so far. For one, I don't know how many dragons there are to collect here, I don't remember offhand, but from what I've read before, I believe we'll be rescuing 6 dragons that we've actually rescued already. So we will be seeing duplicate names and faces because we've already rescued them, and so they will require rescuing again because, surprise surprise, you can use the crystallization spell more than once. Props to Gnasty for figuring that one out. So, we have one portal there, and then the rest are inside these dragon heads, much like with Toasty actually. And I can't tell, I think the music's the same as Toasty as well. And you can actually, as I discovered as a child, sort of peek in through the dragon mouth and see what awaits inside. So, we've got 2 levels, well, we've got 1 level that's open to us, then there's that one, and yeah, you can sort of see there, that portal in there is the boss. Which begs the question, what's inside the green dragon mouth? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, because first, Gnorc Cove, and I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of saying Gnorc so much, because in my mind it sounds like it's a euphemism for something, but I'm not entirely sure what. It just sounds like it's something that I shouldn't be saying. Also, these enemies, another one where you can just charge into them and their attacks are meaningless. If I could just aim, well, there you go, we exploded him in the face. So that's kind of the gimmick of this level. There are enemies that throw barrels, some are metal and you charge them, some are wooden and you flame them because they're full of TNT, because logic. And surprise, surprise, enemies are just as susceptible to explosives as we are. Because actual logic. Congratulations, game, you can things. I make no apologies for the quality of my commentary, it's just, come to think of it, I haven't done this last world in years. Like, the Dreamweaver's world I had a little bit of practice with, but in my practice run I stopped like halfway through the Dreamweaver's world, so I haven't practiced this, and in fact, the last time that I even did this, well, last time I encountered this world, more specifically, was when Josh Jepson did his LP event. I don't even want to think about how long ago that was. Also, the fodder here are rats, and that enemy we just saw, huge so we can't flame them, no, huge so we should flame them, but armoured so we can't flame them, so we can't charge them either. They're holding barrels of TNT, so if we flame that then they'll blow up. That's the appeal here. Genius, just pick up a barrel of imminently exploding TNT, which reminds me, in Scribblenauts, or at the very least, in Scribblenauts 2 and 3, the ones where you're allowed to use adjectives, if you put imminent as an adjective before a noun, then the thing you describe as imminent will act as if it's a nuclear explosive, which is kind of awesome. Also, the barrels have physics, I should mention that as well. These barrels count as separate entities from the enemies that hold them, so if you kill an enemy that's holding a barrel, they'll drop the barrel, and the barrel will continue to exist, it won't die with them. Dragon! Collecting gems to the cutscenes. Latif again!
Keep up the good work, Spyro. I expect Gnasty's really starting to worry about you.
I'd be shaking in my Gnorc boots if I were him.
Gnorc boots! I don't know, just something about the way he says, well, not even the way he says it, but just as a phrase, Gnorc boots. It's just a delightful combination of syllables, because it's just like little Gnorc boots for his little Gnorc feeties. These feets! Oh, I am slightly high as usual. And yes, those metal strong box chest things can be destroyed by barrels. Who would have thought that, you know, it's not as if we were taught in World 2 that tough chests can be broken with high explosives. I do like the aesthetic of this world, because it's sort of, it reminds me, of all things, of the ocean and industrial zones from the Crystal Maze, and if you know the Crystal Maze, then yes. I would say you're an amazing individual, but considering it was a thing that ran in the UK in, like, the early 90s, a lot of people won't know about it, but the Crystal Maze, right? Can I just wax lyrical about that for a minute? Because as a child, it was my jam. It was my life ambition to go on the Crystal Maze and participate. Little did I know that the last series actually ended the year I was born, I think. Or, if not then, sometime around then. So, in actuality, I've been watching reruns the entire time, and so I never stood a chance of taking part in the first place. But after several years of nothing and fan hype, and then one deadly rumour that they're going to... Okay, I should explain. It's... You know those escape rooms that exist? Well, it's a game show escape room, kind of. You'd have to be there to experience it. By the way, you can't charge these barrels because they blow up, so we'll have to leave this lockbox for the moment. Yeah, so it's a game show similar to the French Fort Boyard. In fact, very, very similar. One was based on the other, I think. Where there are these puzzle rooms, and if you win them, you get a crystal, and if you fail, then you can get out of the room and take no penalties but receive no crystals, or if you run out of time, you get locked inside the room and you can only be brought out with a crystal, and it makes sense if you watch it. It's just there are a load of intricacies. I blew myself up. There are a load of intricacies that I can't be asked explaining. And so as a child, it was my ambition to be on that show, but the show ended before I was even remotely old. Like, it ended as I was busy being born, or, as I said, sometime thereabouts. But, first of all, there was a rumour in, like, 2010 or so that they were going to revive the show and put it on Channel 4 and have Davina McCall host it, and I feel like that would be maybe a fate worse than death for the show, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. I have nothing against Davina McCall personally, but a lot of people do, so there's that. But, if I had a larger fan base, I'm sure someone would be rushing to the comments to explain this to me already, but I'm already aware. They actually have revived the Crystal Maze in some format. They now have it as one of those pay-to-participate escape rooms that isn't televised, and so that's a thing I would like to do at some point. But, see, I would have mentioned this as something on my birthday wish list, because that's something my parents have been asking me about, because my birthday is like... Okay, I'm recording this on, I think, Canada Day, which is the 1st of July, and this is also the day this video is meant to go up, but shush. Also, bowling. I want to line up this shot and get some sort of strike. Nyeh. Well, that went well. Or whatever. So, my parents have been hounding me for some sort of birthday wish list, because, it's my birthday at the start of August. So, I've already made my request, as it were, for what I want. And participating in the Crystal Maze, even though it's doable, isn't on that list, simply because I think you need a team of 6 people, and I'm only one person. Also, it would probably be expensive. I don't know. Thomas, hello again!
Wow! I never thought I'd be rescued, especially by such a little dragon. What I mean is, I always believed in you, Spyro!
You gotta believe!
Oh, PS1 generation in-jokes. Yum yum. Although, it does seem a bit strange that Thomas there would express little faith in us being able to rescue him, considering we rescued him once already, and he didn't seem that unjazzed about it. That sounds like the thing you do to remove, like, sequins and glitter and rhinestones from, well, from a vagoo. Because, you know, there's the whole vajazzle nonsense. Well, that's an unjazzle. I don't know if I should apologise for that. That wasn't even a joke, that was just a thing that happened here. Have a chain of explosions. It's like a chain of hearts, but less Cimarronese and more deathy. Well, that's debatable. Right, more barrels, and oh, this room reminds me of a thing, but I can't explain what the thing is yet, because it's a game that I've not played on this channel yet, but that I intend to, and I'm so anal about spoilers, it's not even funny. As I remember this down area, I thought this was in the next level, but no, it can't be, because, well, it's here. Surprisingly dungeon-like for a Spyro game, if you ask me. And I forget which way the right way is, because we've got these 3 branching paths, I think. There might be a 4th one, I don't remember, but at least 2 of them connect to one another. So, there is definitely a right way to go, but I want to go all the wrong ways to get all the gems and shit first, so... Nyeh. Also, I do believe I'm probably going to end this LP in this recording session, which won't mean much to you because for the past 8 episodes, I've recorded 4 episodes in a single session, so I don't know. I don't even know how long I've been going in this episode just yet. And I picked the right path by accident. I thought I should come up here because maybe there'd be a shortcut back. There is a shortcut back. Now, am I the only person who calls a shortcut back a back cut. Because that seems like an expression that no one would use, but it makes sense to me. I mean, a shortcut is a shortcut is a shortcut, surely. But if it's one that allows you to get from A to B, but it also allows you to get from, like, you can't use it to get from A to B. You can only use it to get to B. No. You can only use it to get to A from B, because you can't get into it early. I know what I mean, I just can't articulate it goodly because I'm having too much fun playing this goddamn game. Like, it's a shortcut which would allow you to get to your destination faster, but you need to have been to your destination at least once in order for it to activate. So, sort of like the fly in the Pokemon games, where you can only fly to places you've already been. And this looks like it should be a trap, but this is a Spyro game, they don't do that. So, for instance, I don't know, going the long way around a bunch of mountains to get to some secluded town, and then when you get to this town, you press a button and whoopsie, now there's a cable car. That would be a back cut. Or actually, you know what, why am I even trying to explain it? There was a perfect example of it in this episode when in fact, at the very start of this tangent, we had a good example of one, because we're at a higher ledge, which allowed us to glide back down to a previous lower ledge. That's a back cut, because I think the parameters for defining a back cut, it doesn't have to be one way only, but the backwards way must be its primary or initial usage. There we go, I've defined a word. Are you lovely people happy now? How long has this taken? Only 12 minutes or so. Well, the second portal is now open, so I suppose we should just do more stuff. And yes, I meant to explain earlier, but yeah, you can't get all the gems in a single pass of this homeworld. Well, you can, but you'd have to go through all of the other levels first to open up all of the various dragon mouths, because some of the gems are inside the dragon mouths, so you can't get them until you've opened the dragon mouths and Twilight Harbor. As a child, I remember this level being difficult in that it's very easy to get hit and take damage. Very atmospheric, and I'm not sure— oh yes, the Gnorcs with guns. That's what I was thinking of. Huge contrast to what we've seen so far. I mean, yes, we saw the comedic farty noise blunderbusses in Dry Canyon, but these are actual guns. Is this America? Too soon? That wasn't meant to be a reference to the disasters in America lately, but America is kind of— it feels like it's the only country where shootings happen regularly, and they say, oh, gun control will not help gun crime, and they're the only country where they have regular gun crime and no gun control. I don't know, just an observation. But really, that's just— are you proud, America? You're the first person I think of— person? You're a country. The first country I think of when I think guns. Well, it's some sort of legacy, I'm sure. Because, in fairness, there are these pirate Gnorcs as well with the, oh my. So, that reminds me of the stereotypical— like not necessarily accurate stereotypes, I'm not going to say that, but like the stereotypical caricature of like the combatants of the Middle East of like the mid-2000s or the early 2000s, that particular army. And then there's the ones with the machetes and the grenades, and those— I thought I was going to get hit there and I didn't. I was all prepared to make an excuse. Wow. I was not expecting to survive that. That enemy over there, okay, with the machetes and the grenades, for some reason reminds me of Somalia, but again, that's completely baseless stereotypes, and I have no position to comment. Like, I'm not trying to offend people, these are just thoughts that I've had. So who are we re-rescuing now? Cosmos, hello!
Thank you for releasing me.
Seriously? Seriously? You're not even gonna recognize the fact that we've rescued you again? You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, generic welcome to victory. What? But it seems like there's just a rather alarming juxtaposition. Have fodder respawned already? Well, I'm not going to complain. There's just an alarming juxtaposition between the cartoony blunderbusses of World 2 and these actual, very real kind of, not necessarily vigilante-ish, but scarily real-world analogy guns of this world. Like, it's just a bit of a stark contrast compared to what we've seen so far. I don't know, maybe it's just taking a step in comparative realism rather than cartoon violence. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know, it's something that's always been a bit of a jarring Thud Fitzgerald for me. And if you get that reference, congratulations, you were with my channel this time like a couple of months ago, or last month, I don't know. Also, these things, the drawbridges, I'm not sure what the... Oh wait, yes, I remember what the point of that is. Note that we can't really walk up this, but it is an upwards incline. Now, what have we used those for in the past? I'll leave you to speculate, but it's more useful than just having the bridge down, I assure you. Maybe not from this side, but just to prove that we can, just give it a bit of a thinkle and a thoughtle and a tiddly-doopy-doo. By the way, I found out yesterday that Elle King, who sang X's and O's, is Rob Schneider's daughter. What do I do with this information? Cletus, hello! It's been a while.
Be on the lookout for Gnorc Commandos, Spyro.
They better be on the lookout for me.
Is he a different colour from when we rescued him in the Beastmaker's world? Or did he just retain his texture from being crystal and yeah. So yeah, I could play dumb, but look, we just charged up a supercharge ramp. Also, funny little glitch that I've encountered with this game is, depending on the angle and how the game feels, you can actually supercharge up a supercharge ramp, but only a little while, then the game realizes, no wait, shit, you're not supposed to be able to do that. Yeah. Could have kept on supercharging, killed this fucker, and charged through that jump over silly chest, but nyeh. Nyeh, I say. And that's the point. I suppose I should ask, is there like a proper official name for those yellow chests where you flame them or charge them and then grab the gem as it jumps out the top and you have to be all athletic and stuff? Because I don't understand those chests. And oh, I just realized a thing. We're gonna need to put the drawbridge down and supercharge and hit the lockbox that way. And I don't know why I'm calling it lockbox, because that's a word that's never been part of my vocabulary. I just don't know how else to describe the thing, but yay, we need to use the supercharge twice, once for each bridge position. Which, like, for some reason, that exact choice of words reminds me of Suikoden 2, which I have no intention of LPing, because it's just... I'm not going to say it's crazy difficult, it's just... I feel like I won't be able to do the game justice, so if you want to see that game done well, just go and watch Lucajin. But just something about bridge position reminds me of that game, and I don't know why. Then again, that was a game that... It was a JRPG with towns with names like South Window, and a dungeon called North Window, which sounds like a euphemism. And cranks should not work like this, where... You know what, I know, off the bat, I can't articulate what I want to say about those cranks, so I'm just not going to bother with that train of thought. But just rest assured, it doesn't sit right with me that you can crank it on one side, and then crank it on the other side, and crank it into any position, regardless of which crank cranked previously. Get turned? Question mark. Fun times indeed. This level isn't as hard as I remember, although I have still been taking damage much more frequently than I normally do, so the enemies here are tough, but the level isn't as bad as I remember, he says, walking straight into a grenade twice. Heeble-dee-beeble-dee-bee. I should probably just run back and heal, because I'm fairly sure there was an entire clusterfuck of fodder right here. Oh yes indeed. Sparks do the glitchy thing. He is, look, there you go, he's green, but he's got the rainbow particle effects of blue sparks, and then he jumped straight to yellow despite still having a green body. That was not worth my while to show off. And wow, those bullets from that particular enemy have surprisingly, like, not large, but just tall hitboxes, so you have to jump much higher to get over them than you'd expect, or at the very least you can't jump over them in too close range, so I would be salty, but I recognise that as legitimately good enemy design and programming and stuff, because a lot of the enemies in this game are kind of jokes, but these ones are a bit more serious, which comes as no surprise, because they're wielding actual fucking machine guns, which, as I said, huge kind of, not paradox, juxtaposition with the tone of the rest of the game. Guns. Clocks, and guns, and Jesus! Which would have been funnier if I'd said whilst getting hit by a surprise gun, but there is none, we just have plenty of treasure, and I got 2-in-1 jump. That's something that I've low-key been wanting to do throughout this project. Get to 2 of those nameless chests, hit them both, and then grab both gems as I jump over it. Like, in one fell swoop, rather than having to, flame one, grab the gem, flame the other, grab the gem. I wanted to do it all in one clean run, and that's what I did. I'm so good at this game, and let's have a look at how we're doing. We've got all the dragons so far, apart from... Well, there are 2 dragons in this homeworld, but there's only 1 pedestal, and, well, where else could there be a dragon? I honestly don't know. Where could they be hiding it? It couldn't possibly be inside this last dragon head, could it? Well, we shall see. But I do believe that's it for this episode. Oh yes, hell yes. So in the next episode, we'll be taking on Gnasty Gnorc, the big bad final boss of this homeworld, and... Oh, I was going to say, isn't that a tease, leaving the last 10 gems of the homeworld in this last dragon head, but no. No, we have all of the gems here now. We're still missing a dragon, but, I mean, shut up. I'm making progress. We're at 97%. I will see you in the next episode. God, this was a crap rambly outro. Well, whatever. See you next time. Have a nice life, and... Wow, I've completely forgotten how to outro.